on what's it called?
Beat Saber.
Beat Saber.
I kind of love that game.
Yeah, it's really stressful. I tried to play it. It's really
I
it's
don't
like
think I like
very in your
the
face.
goggles. I don't know if I could. I don't know. It's
'Cause
kind of like
you
you used to play like those Just Dance or whatever back on Wii and stuff. But
Yeah,
you didn't
yeah.
have to do the movements too crazy. Like Sarah and all her friends would play it, and I'd just beat them by like holding the remote like this and just rotating it how it was on the screen. Get 100% on all of them.
Yeah, Beat Saber's very in your face. Like when you're in VR, like you're in it really. So, guess that's by design. Anyway, sorry for holding you up earlier there.
I think it went both ways.
Yeah, I was really pushing a lot into a 2-hour time span. Oh.
Yeah, I hear that.
I always think it's funny too, like how you can schedule. You almost can like predict the future. Like you know how long every little task takes, and then you're like, well, I'm not going to get there until this time. Like you just get better at that over time.
Yeah, I've just accepted. I'm like those couple times I got on at 20 after 8 were like miracles. So I said,
Yeah.
I'm like I said earlier, I'm willing to sacrifice a little bit of time on stream to realize that I still have to be a human through the evening, and I can't just speed run life. Like it just doesn't exist. It comes back to all that same 24 hours in a day, and if unfortunately it means that I've got to spend half an hour doing something else on the back end, I finally realized that that's okay.
Yeah.
Like you can't just lob the kids in bed and run downstairs. Like it's just not a thing. So
Yeah.
I'm good with the starts.
Yeah. It's a tough one to I guess accept at first. Like I said before, you just want to like, maximize like the amount of time you're online and be on as early as possible, but then you just like literally royally F up your real life. So
Yeah.
it's not really not the good plan.
No, that's right. But sometimes it takes a while to see that as well.
Yeah.
And that's the same with that's another not just streaming thing. That's the same with me. Like today I had my doctor's appointment today, and I left like last minute. Like I got there like a minute before the appointment, which in this current world we live in isn't a big deal because you're not allowed in anyway. But like in regular life, back before COVID and all that, it would have been like you probably should have like not sat down and drank your coffee for 10 minutes. You probably should have poured it in a travel mug and drank it on the road kind of thing.
Yeah.
But anyway, time management is not one of my skills. I think it's on my resume though.
Yeah, it's probably on your resume. That's probably when was that last updated? Like 2009?
Yeah, exactly. 15, 14. I don't know.
True.
Time flies, bud, whether you're having fun or not. So.
Yeah. Like my grandma, she said, life's a bitch and then you die. And I was like,
Exactly.
Grandma, don't say that.
Don't say that, but you're right.
You're right. Yeah. Oh, man. The other day, speaking of that, I was talking to my dad the other day, and he was like, so, like, why are you calling? And I'm like, I'm literally calling just to say hi. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
so,
Yeah.
like, because I haven't called them on a regular basis, and I haven't really called any family on like a big, schedule. And then I'm like, well, I'm just doing the rounds. Like I'm calling, a bunch of family. So hello kind of thing. And speaking of my grandma is definitely on the list. I still need to do that, which is what my point was.
Yeah,
Like,
it's I even miss like one of the things I missed the most about Dad was just like the 5-minute nothing phone conversations. And we talked a lot before, but not really. Like after he got sick, it was kind of more like just started up like checking in, and then it just morphed into this literally be like, hey, and we just talk about nothing for 5 minutes and hang up. I'm like, that's like the best part of my day. Even it doesn't have to have a point, it doesn't have to have anything. It's just like you said, making the rounds, just kind of making yourself known.
Yeah. Not only that, but like I've heard it said before that, like if someone is, for lack of a better word, kind of on their way out or even if they're just old, like you got to keep in mind that, your last encounters with them are the ones that you might have to live with. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I've seen that, when my grandmother died on my mom's side, a lot of her kids were showing up to the funeral crying and saying like, oh, I'm so sorry. I wish we had spent more time together. And it's like, she was alive 3 days ago. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Yep.
it's sorry, I got a cough. That was a first for Between the Lives. But I found with yeah, when they were there, and this, I guess my takeaway was, well, like, are you sorry for her, or are you just sorry for yourself, you know?
Yep.
And and um and I was pretty young. I was youngish. I think it was like 19 when that happened or so. But I think I was actually living with you when that happened.
You were, I
I
believe
think I
so. Yeah.
was, yeah.
Yep.
And yeah, it's kind of something that I've visited every now and then, is like, if you've got the opportunity, while, I mean, you know, if we're thinking about it like this, like, if you have the opportunity, then you definitely need to talk to these people and call them, or whatever. Like, if you're pissed off at somebody, or you made somebody upset, and you have the opportunity to apologize because you feel bad, then you probably should take it. You know, like, there's so many ways to say that. And I feel
Yeah.
like, on a positive note, for me, and for you as well, is like going out and saying, hey, like, so and so is doing a good job right now, or whatever, you know? Like,
I
it's
do.
it doesn't take much, but you can go out and you can be positive too. Like, you can you can tell people that you're proud of them, tell them that you're happy that they're doing better, or that they're seeing success on Twitch or whatever, right? Like, it's not
I,
going to kill you to do that.
no, I think it actually takes less energy than being negative, and I think that's a lot. That's a thing that people would have a hard time admitting. Some people that like to be a little bit like that, like, if
Mm.
I'm really, sometimes this is to my own demise, but I'm really good at not holding grudges, because tell me one time that a grudge has actually got you anywhere
Yeah.
besides spending a lot of time in your own head and doing all this. Now, I'm not saying there's forgive and forget. For me, it's, forgive but don't forget. Like, why you
Hmm.
got in those type of situations, but honestly, for the amount of energy that you're taking to be negative towards an individual, like, I don't like that guy because that thing that happened. Is that true, or do you not like that thing that happened and you can't get rid of that particular time stamp in your brain and move on? You know what I mean? Like you
Yeah.
said, it's the same. It's a great analogy with sports and stuff. Hockey players can go out and punch each other in the head and have a beer together after. They might not have liked what happened then, but you take yourself out of that instance, and there's a chance to be positive and build a relationship there. Now, I'm not saying you got to like everybody, and I'm not saying you can't be mad, because that's not life either. But like you said, you never know when an interaction might be your last, and you don't even have to just talk life and death. You can talk about, someone you game with online that you played with for years and years, and then all of a sudden you guys both go dark for 5 years. You know what I mean? Like,
Hmm.
or someone moves away, and you're like, oh shit, I should have took that chance to hang out that time. They asked me to go for coffee, and I blew them off because I didn't want to, and now they moved halfway across the world, and I'd never realized how good of a friend that person was until they're gone. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So for me, if you're taking the time to put that energy out into the universe, and you're taking time to use your body and your mind to do something, why are you trying to work the opposite direction of the natural flow of things? Because I do believe that at most people's base, we're good people, and we don't want to see others fail. We might want to see ourselves come ahead as far as they do. I think there's that aspect for it. But like, for
Yeah.
me, I always use the analogy, like, at work, like, I'm never mad that someone makes more money than me. You know what I mean? Maybe I
Hmm.
wish I made more, but I'm not
Yeah.
like, I wish I could take their dollars
Yeah,
back
that's
to
true.
mine. Do you know what I mean? So that's just kind of the way I look at it.
Yeah. That's an interesting way to think about it. It's true though. Like,
Yeah.
you don't like, oh, like, I wish I made more money, but you're not going around like picking from other people's pockets to do
Yeah.
that.
So that's for me. Like, if I'm looking and I'm like, okay, that person over there makes more money than me, I wish I could take money from their family. That would make me feel better. Do you know what I mean? That's not the way it
Yeah.
works. Do I wish I could excel more to provide a better life for my kids and everything? Sure, always. I'm always going to
Yeah.
want more, or more sustainability, or more this and that. But I'd rather not do it climbing up a pile of bodies to get there. Do you know what I mean? It's
Yeah,
easier
yeah.
for everybody to be going the same direction. That's my opinion. But
Hmm. I think that like, with Twitch, I mean, Twitch is fairly competitive in the way like, a viewership. It is competitive. Like,
sure.
I had somebody come in my chat like way early on and say like, "Oh, it's not a competition." I'm like, "Well, it's not." but it also
It
kind of
kind of is. It
kind
also
of fucking
directly is. Yeah.
Like, are you flat out lying to me? Like, I don't know. I bounce back and forth on that one. Like, obviously, if they're people that are in your circle, that's where it comes back to make friends, make peers, make mentors. Like, if they're in that mentorship circle, then that's awesome. If they're exterior, it's not as helpful to you. I mean, to be frank, you know what I mean? Like, it's just not.
No, it's true.
But like with you and like with Fallout and stuff, like we've seen Fallout grow. Like Fallout's like gone from what 4 to 6 to like 800-900 viewers.
Yeah, it's
these
had a good
last couple
jump
weeks.
the past month,
Mm-hmm.
which is nice to see. And it's kind of it's a good community where there are quite a few people who stream, and there's a pretty consistent number of people who are viewers. So it, like you said, if it's a good community where everybody seems to help each other out. Like they've got their Fallout community stream team now. There's a bunch of other smaller Fallout stream teams in amongst it, and all of these groups of people work together for different charities and stuff like that. So it's kind of, there's a lot of crossover between streams. Like you'll see familiar people in every space. But like you said, like for a game like Anno, for example, like I've noticed, like there's very different groups of people in different streams. A lot of it is a language barrier and time zones, but that's like you said. So it's not a competition, but if the people that don't know who you are knew who you were, it would be a lot more beneficial to you. So there is competition. It doesn't have to be hostile competition. You know what I mean? You can still play crib with your family, play a card game with your family. It's still competition, but you're not out to get each other. You might be in that instance. But it's just, for me, this whole streaming thing and people doing successful near you, it makes you want to be successful as well. It's that ladder, right? Like, boom, this person, and you and I do it a lot. Like, boom, there's here, and then, drop event, and then I might jump here, and then we might jump here. And you're just consistently going up. But at the same time, what you don't realize is we were both here, and then you're both up here together. Do you know what I mean? So there's definitely a competitive aspect to it. For anybody to say that there isn't, I mean, I just don't think that's true. Now, a lot of people just do it for a hobby and they don't care. So there is that side of it too, right? But
yeah. I think I don't know if your voice mod kicked in. Can we get a mic check? I want to try.
Hello?
There. Yeah. Okay.
Did it? Uh-oh.
Yeah, that was cool. We'll get a little voice mod section. That audio was brought to you by Voice Mod.
Man, it shouldn't even be doing it.
It did it on its own?
It did it completely on its own. Like my Stream Deck is in sleep mode and voice mod isn't even open.
That's weird.
Awesome.
Yeah. Oh, well,
hopefully it went Titan. Hopefully I went down like 4 octaves.
No, it went like radio or some sort of like, concert radio effect. That was funny.
Oh, nice.
I was like,
perfect.
oh no, we're losing him.
Could have happened.
I
just
thought,
fades. Just this side fades into black. Just
episode 10. Yeah. Goodbye.
Radio chatter. Just fade out. Nothing. 10-minute episode.
Just like fade in white noise and just like kill it. What the hell were we talking about?
I don't remember. Voice mod's like, every moment that voice mod can take the opportunity to do it. It's like, having a nice conversation, are you? It'd be a shame if somebody ruined that.
Have you seen Stream Deck now comes with a year for free of voice mod and stuff?
Really?
I wonder how many people will have problems with it. That was the first thought I had, was like Stream Deck now, if you buy a 15, like a Stream Deck 15 or whatever, the big one, an XL, you get voice mod for a year for free. And I mean, more people will use it, but I wonder
it'll consume their
what problems it will cause for people.
It's a super cool tool. I just find, like, especially the integration into Stream Deck can leave something to be desired from time to time. My monitor will turn on its own, and the latency is enough. It's noticeable. So all of a sudden you'll be talking, and then you'll get that brain scrambler effect. But for the couple instances that I like to use it, it's fun, and I'm always on that balance where I'm like, well, I paid for it, I might try it, or there's something that's useful or something that's fun. But yeah, there's some definite tweaks. I wouldn't discourage people from using it, but I would encourage them to do some testing for sure. Or you can end up talking like Thanos for 20 minutes like I did that stream.
Oh yeah, early on when you were just
It's when I met Deep Tony. He's like, your voice is, there's something going on with your voice. I'm like, I've been live for 34 minutes or something like that. Nobody said anything.
Well, one time I raided Minami because I was on an Anno stream and he was doing something. I can't remember. Subnautica, I think he was playing. So I go in and there's no noise, there's no audio. And I'm like, I can't hear you, Mina. And he's like, he was 3 hours into his stream. He's like, I can't hear you. And he's like, he unmutes whatever. And he's like, oh my God, my entire stream has been muted for 3 hours. And I couldn't figure out why people weren't like joining. When people said hi, I was saying hi back, but they weren't hearing me. So yeah, I mean,
it just happens.
or what's is it Nikkei or what? I don't know how to pronounce it, but he said like he played like some scary game for like however long, like 2 hours, but then on the VOD or the recording, the like no audio showed up other than his microphone. So it was just like him playing
yelling.
the game and him screaming. And I commented like, hey man, like, yeah, that sucks, but I guarantee you're never going to make that mistake again. You know, like
No,
you're going
it's
to
live
triple
and
check
learn,
that.
right? Yeah, live and learn. It's kind of funny. Sometimes they're happy little accidents or whatever Bob Ross would say there too. Because that thing,
Yeah.
like Deep and I still talk about that. Do you know what I mean? So it was funny, and you got to try not to take yourself too seriously, which happens so much, you know. And that's just another thing, you know.
Yeah.
Do it wrong. I've played on the wrong scene for 10 minutes before, where it's just my face, just no game, just me, and you can like hear shooting and stuff. But
Yeah. I was thinking one of the things I'm going to do is make a channel point reward for like 500 bits or 500 points or whatever, and make it a like change scene, like you're on the wrong scene, redeem. So then if like, right?
Yeah, that's why I made like I've got the exclamation listen now in chat too, so that if
Yeah.
someone's saying something that I have no idea what's going on, it yells at me so I hear it. Because sometimes you know, if it slows down or something, and you're not like, if you're looking here and you're just not tilting your eyes over to OBS, you might not know as well. Stream Raiders is one, because you're switching scenes a lot, so sometimes, you know,
Yeah.
I leave it in there. So
The other one I find with you is like people come in and they ask questions, and they're questions I can't answer. So I have to like tag you, like, Father Millennial, like there's a question I can't answer, like I have no idea. So
and then I can't answer it, so
And
I'm
then
like,
you're
I'm like, there's somebody in here that can answer it.
yeah. There's a lot of really smart people that play this game. So
Yeah, exactly. Good people to help people out. How do you jump? I don't know.
yeah. Oh man. Yeah, it's just
If you can't laugh at yourself, you don't have much of a right to laugh at other people, I guess.
that is very true. Yeah. I learned that years ago actually. It's like, you know, it's like the whole like, oh, if you can't take a joke, then if you dish it out, you can't take it kind of thing, right? It's
Yeah.
you got to be you know, it's got to go both ways for sure. I was going to say your stream last night was really good. Like,
It was fun. Yeah.
Kat and I were watching it, and Kat's like, wow, like Nick's like really on one tonight. I'm like, yeah, he really is. Like,
Sometimes they just hit different, you know, and that's what I mean. Sometimes you get in when you you get in your head and you're, oh, I'm not feeling well, or I'm tired, or I'm this, or I'm that. And I find if you're thinking about it when you're streaming, you're probably you're gonna have like a shitty vibe, or you're not gonna. I was just like last night, I was just talking to some people running around trying to find some telephones, which I did not do very well at. But it was also that's another good people thing, you know. It was a bunch of friends that I met playing this game, just shooting the shit, having a good Wednesday night. Like there were some laughs. It was just it was in a good mood, good place. Shut it off after and didn't think about it, you know. I just like, that was fun, went up and went to bed. Where sometimes like if I have one that I don't think went that well, I'm like, why did that happen, or what did this? And a lot of it I think is the energy you start with, you know what I mean? Like I try to get myself positive. I do the same when I'm coaching hockey practice or something like that. Try to let the bothers of the world go for a couple hours and just escape. Yesterday, I didn't have too bad of a day at work as well. You know, that's a pretty direct correlation. Had a decent day at work. It was a nice day outside. We had a good time after work with the kids. And then I had a good time playing a game. And then I went to bed and had a sleep and had a good day today. So sometimes you just get in a groove. And sometimes you get in a rut. There's a difference, right? So, yeah, last night was fun.
And I think like between the lives and like our conversations, like a lot of them are like, how do we how do we have more good days and less bad days, right? Like
Exactly.
that's one of the big questions that you know, we want to try and answer, or we want to try to change the odds a little bit to be in our favor. If it does happen to just be a coin flip, we'd rather be able
Yeah.
to dictate.
I'm just trying to save that the not just anger, but that aggression and all of that for situations that actually need that, because I'll get so mad over like little things. And that's like, "Oh, don't sweat the small things, or don't cry over spilled milk," and all that, and all the annoying. And then I get mad because somebody said a proverb that I didn't like, and I'm like, I don't like that. But like,
Yeah.
yeah, literally, you know,
Yeah.
you spilled some milk, clean it up. Get mad when it counts, or use that energy towards something that counts. And that's right. We're just trying to, one day at a time. Good days are a lot more fun than bad days, so I would rather them outnumber them. And that's a lot of people that watch this, a lot of people we talk to are all trying to figure out that balance.
hmm I think too, like, it's like, oh, don't cry over spilled milk, but it's also have the tools to be able to do that. You know what I mean? Like, there's self-realization, or like, recognition of the issue, the ability to step back and go, oh yeah, okay, it is just spilled milk.
Yeah.
The ability to isolate, kind of your well-being, your being from what's going on is another huge one that some people are really good at. So
Oh no,
it's
I get it.
definitely, yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
it's a long, that's a long road to betterment for sure.
I worked with this old boy that was like, he's like the happiest go lucky guy ever. Like, I love him still to this day. He's like, he brought the whole atmosphere of a room up, and he was just like, it's actually, it's preacher's uncle. And he's
Okay.
just, he always was, this big thing was, you'd be all mad and going off. And then he'd be like, "Oh, why would you let that bother you?" And I'm like, "Because it bothers me." And he'd be like, "Why?" "Because it does." He'd be like, "Yeah, well, don't let it bother you." And I'm like, "Damn, he's right. Why am I letting it bother me?" And that's all. There'd be people just screaming at each other, "Oh, don't let that bother you." And I'd be like, "How do you not let it bother you?" And he's like, "It doesn't bother me." And I'm like, this doesn't make any fucking sense. But it worked
Yeah.
for him. He was happy the majority of his days. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah. A lot of that is like, a powerful mindset to be
yeah.
able to actually see the bigger picture and go, yeah, like that really doesn't bother me.
Yeah.
So
A good buddy of mine, it was his shoulders like a brook trout. That's his thing. "Oh, bud, don't worry about his shoulders like a brook trout."
just
Nothing.
navigating.
Everything rolls right off. Just, that's awesome. He's just an outback boy too. Just like, "Oh, don't let that bother you, bud. Shoulders like a brook trout." I'm like, yeah, I
Yeah.
wish.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I don't know.
But I
It's
think,
just,
yeah,
it's hard. It's hard.
I think we have a tendency to take a lot of stuff personally too, because like,
Yeah.
I mean, with work, if we want to take it to work, like I take a lot of it personally because I want it to be better. And when I see something shitty, then it's like, hey, that directly kind of relates to me, my job, and my day. So now my day's shitty because that's shitty, like,
Yeah.
um, and it's not coming from a bad place, but it's also it can also be really detrimental because your work is not your entire life. But my last point was just going to be when I did start to work full time every day, 8 hours a day, 5 days a week, I realized, man, you spend a lot of time at a job. Like when you do a full year, man, that's like a jail sentence. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And that's where the determination for things like this comes in, because I'm like,
Yeah.
man, imagine I could take some of my life back. That's
Yes. Yep. It's hard to talk about. Like, I've got a supervisory position. I have people that I'm responsible for, and there's always tension in any workplace. And I take a lot of like what we talk about, and I try to apply that to work as well. Because above all, me, when I look at, like I said, when I look at a group of people, and what do I see? What do I want? I care more about the people in this situation than the work. Do you know what I mean? If the people are all right, the work's usually good as well. Do you know, same like we just talked about streaming. If you're in a good mood, you're probably gonna have a good stream. If you're in a bad mood, you're probably not gonna have the energy you want. So that's like the same. Like you said, we spend a lot of time together. Like a lot of us, especially in like a service atmosphere around our colleagues more than our family. A lot of the
yeah.
times. And it's like, why don't we try to at least make this function, since we're spending so much time together? Like, literally, you're going to be miserable for half your life if you let that get to you. And I'm not saying you gotta love your job, because do I love mine? No. But I've got to do it. Do you know what I mean? That's just the nature of the beast.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. And like, yeah, I mean, there's like, especially with streaming and stuff like that, like that's, again, what I was going to say is just like, there's more determination to at least claw some of that back. Like, you know, working from home and stuff has made people realize, like, man, if I only had a bit more time to myself, I wouldn't hate work as much, because I'd have my own life a bit more. So,
yep.
and that would be questions, like I've actually heard it said a few times now, that with the Canadian government, like the federal government, they have no plan to return to physical at desk in office work, like at all.
A lot of them don't. No.
Like in Ottawa and stuff like that. That may be the way forward, like forever, or not forever, but you know, for 50 years or something, like until they change the policy. So it'd be interesting to see what happens. Because I do think that it's really, like, maybe not in this, like in the repair and service industries, but for some people, the idea of like a 40-hour work week, it's like, how many hours did you actually do any work? You know,
Well, that's, yeah.
20?
Where did that number come from? I would love that. Like 40. I'm like, okay, so now everybody is based off that forever. Now I know there's a lot of people that aren't, but that's a pretty generic scheme, right? Like, oh, you could have put in 40 hours. I'm like, there are a lot of days where I would do more, actually get more things accomplished in 4 hard hours of work than I would 8 hours of trying to fill the gaps and dealing with crap that comes up from all this stuff we talk about. You know, I don't think productivity is directly based on time. You know, like, okay, you're going to be the most productive if you're here for 8 hours. No, I'm not. I'm going to be the most productive if I'm in a good mindset and I'm focused on the task at hand. It doesn't have anything to do with a specific time. You know, yep, you only can do it between 8 and 4:30. That is when you're going to be productive. You don't know me very well. Those are by far not my most productive hours, you know.
Yeah, try 10 to 2, bud.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, I find, like, even with guys that work under me, like I've said before, if someone needs to jet away, like, oh, I want to leave at 3, and it's like, yeah, okay, cool, like, how about you, like, can we kill off these couple tasks first, and then you know what I mean, like, they'll probably be finished by that 3 o'clock mark, and they'll have done just as much as a 5 o'clock work week. So, or work day,
stayed until 5 and it's not done. So who's winning? You know, like, that's it's such an interesting correlation, and I think that's what's kind of cool about people that creators, not just content creators, but musicians, or people that do art, or people that do this and that they're passionate about something, and they're doing it they know when they're productive, so they're doing it at that time. You know, like a lot of musicians, like even Asa messaged me on Discord last night. He sent me a drop that he worked on. I was like, man, that's awesome. And it was 2:45 my time, and I don't know where he is, but he's like, yeah, I'm gonna finish it right now. I'm like, this dude's doing it at like 3 a.m, you know, because that's when the juices are flowing. So it's just and everybody will blame that. Oh, that's them millennials. They don't want to stick to their regular work week, and you know what I mean. It's like, no, maybe we're the ones that have it right now. Are we? No, probably not. There's somewhere in the middle, but still, a lot of the rigidity in the world is a lot of the issue that I have as well. But that's
I think that's another topic. That's an episode topic, 11, I would say. I was going to say, my little comment was going to be, I remember hearing about in Australia, they tried to get rid of daylight savings time. Yeah. And a bunch of boomers from like the Farmers and Dairy Association said, well, if we disable daylight savings time, the cows won't know when to wake up. That was one of their arguments. Like, that's what we're dealing with here. So,
first of all, don't call me that. I have an alarm clock.
No, they were actually really concerned that the farm animals wouldn't know when to wake up. Like, they can somehow read the goddamn time. Anyway.
Yeah, I know. Daylight savings time is just a joke that people without kids made up as a prank for people with kids, to be like, here you go, take this curveball. Bedtime's different now. Have fun. What's the reason? It just don't ask. Yeah.
And daylight savings times, the 2 daylight savings days or whatever are the largest spikes in heart related, like strokes, heart attack, brain aneurysm, all that. They spike on those days. Those are the 2 big days for that. So
You're
anyway.
Yeah, you're reprogramming your body unwillingly.
Yeah,
But
those
anyway,
poor cows.
exactly. Think about the cows.
Alrighty, let's think about the cows on episode 11. This is Between the Lives, episode 10. My name's Julian, also known as Mr. Elliott. And over here, we've got Nick, also known as Father Millennial, and he's going live now, I bet. So we got to close her out.
That's
We
right.
drag this one on longer. Every time we're like, hey, 20 minutes. And then it's like
We'll keep it
30. I'm
tight.
like,
Yeah.
we'll keep it tight. Yeah, this one.
Yeah,
The next one's going to be like 15 minutes. It's like,
5-minute speed run special.
it's going to be you like dusting the little thing, and then that's it.
Just
Then
one long slow. That's why. Yeah.
Just that'll be the loading bar till the end. And then we're done.
That's the whole thing. Yeah.
Alrighty, we're going to shut her off here.
All right.